guys, so this video is the solution for the VM which I have given you. Go through this entire video and then you can try to replicate the exploit which I will use in this video. So I have already done Nmap scanning. So Nmap has detected port number 80, 2121, 3389, 4993, 18899 and 1 UDP port. So I'll start with this 2121. So very first step we can do is to check what exactly is running on this specific port. So when I'm trying to do telnet on 192.168.1.11 on port 2121, I see a prompt which is very much similar to FTP. So from this response I can basically see the application which is running at the server on port 2121 is a FTP application. So let's try to do FTP. So let me quickly close this session. FTP 192.168.1.11 and port number we will be using as 2121. So if you see such prompts, we can always try to authenticate against FTP using default credentials like anonymous, ANONYMOUS, ANONYMOUS. So I'm successfully logged in. If I check my current directory using pwd, I see slash is my current directory, and then I can see what are the contents in my directory. So ls is the command to check those contents. So I could see this welcome to club.txt. So to download this file I will use get and then welcome to club.txt. So I can actually download. So the file has been downloaded, we will see in a minute. But most of the FTP installations are vulnerable to directory traversal attacks. Now what exactly is this? So in most of the cases FTP is being used to download and upload the files, and if right input validation is not there, we can change our directory with the help of FTP commands. So let me show you how. So ls is to list the contents, and if I use dot dot slash, this command might show me the result. This command will show me the result of the one directory which is upper than this FTP directory. So ls dot dot slash enter, and then I could see couple of directories here. So actually logically we have changed the directory. I can see the content of some other directory. I could see Windows, I could see TCSA, I could see program files, I could see pass.txt, documents and settings, and other things as well. To, to download a file from this directory we will use get dot dot slash, and then for example pass.txt looks interesting, so we can try to download that. Pass.txt. So file has been downloaded. Now I want to see what all applications are installed. So most of the time application, so we could be able to see program files, and under program files we should be able to see what all applications are installed. Now a bit problem in directory traversal, especially in FTP, is it is difficult to include the spaces between the directory names. For example, program space files. So we won't be able to see the content like this way. So if I specify program underscore files, I will not be able to see the contents. So it's say output to local file. So this command is not being recognized by the FTP server. So what has to be done is, so dot dot slash program, we need to use Windows Microsoft shortcut mechanism to list down the directories. So program this curl and then 1 and then end the directory. So hopefully we should be able to see the content of the program files. Amazing. So I could see some web server is running ABYSS on this machine. I could see a home series, which is an interesting folder. So we'll go to the Google and see what exactly it is. I could see another application, Icecast 2 is running, which is Windows 32, and then some of the default applications which are being used by Windows, and then one interesting file I could see which is secret.txt.txt, and then some kind of TFTP is also running on this server. So directory traversal is very useful in information gathering. So you will not be able to directly exploit the server with the help of this vulnerability, but you will be able to gain the application information. So right now I know one web server is running, which is ABYSS. I know Icecast is running. I know one TFTP service is running, and one folder I could see home series. So if we go to browser and then open Google, so we should be able to find some information what exactly is home series. Use google.com. Mm-mm-mm. Might be internet is not up and running on this machine as of now, so we'll look into this later. So I don't want to troubleshoot now the internet issue, but as of now we have information, we have good information what exactly we have now running on this machine. If you want to download, so we tried to download uh, we try to download, yes, we tried to download pass.txt file as well. Let's do a quit from FTP and then try to look this pass file. Wow, amazing. I could see some kind of username and passwords are there in this specific machine. That's good. uh, I have this user this password, which is gogo123. I have test at the rate 123 and have some bank related information, which is question mark question mark question mark. So we might be able to use this information further, but now we know we have multiple applications running. So let's try to find if there is any vulnerability exist against these applications. So Icecast, if we see the nmap results, uh, so let me try to do a aggressive scan on this specific port. Nmap minus p 18899 minus a, and then IP address of server. Let's wait what it comes out to be. I hope Icecast service should be running on this specific port. If it is running, then we'll try to identify the exploit. Yes, it says Icecast streaming media server running on this specific machine. Try to search the exploit against this application. So search exploit is nothing but a dump of exploit db exploits. So I'm doing a search exploit and then application name Icecast. So let's see if we have any exploits. We have a lot of exploits available. Some of the exploits are in C, then I could see one in Ruby, then some text files. So to I'm not going to explain how we can compile C code into bash file or a Python file in the specific video. So I am assuming this Ruby is the Metasploit exploit. So we will use Metasploit to exploit this specific application vulnerability. Let's launch the Metasploit now. MSF console. So MSF console is the command to launch the Metasploit, and it is a very powerful tool. So whatever exploits do you see in exploit DB, the consolidation of those exploits in different modules has been done in case of Metasploit, because it is very difficult to update exploits, it is very difficult to modify exploits, and it is very difficult to consolidate everything. So they have done a very good job here. They have created a tool which says, for example, here if you see 1585 exploits are available, some of the auxiliary modules. I'll shoot one more video basically to explain everything which is there in the Metasploit. But as of now, let's try to search Icecast. So it will take few seconds to search if the exploit. Hopefully there should be an exploit in the database, because we could see in search exploit there is a Ruby exploit. Why it's Ruby? Because entire Metasploit has been written in the Ruby language. So wherever you see .rb as an extension for any exploit, so 99% cases that exploit will be available in the Metasploit. And in case if that exploit is not available in Metasploit, you can download the code, you can import that code into the Metasploit, and then you can use that to exploit the application. So it will take few more seconds, and let's see. Yes, so we have some exploit available in the Icecast header. Let's try to use this. Copy and then paste. So if you want to understand what exactly it does, click on info. So it says this module exploits a buffer overflow in the header parsing of Icecast version this discovered by this guy. Sending 32 HTTP headers will cause a write one past the end of a pointer array. So if we send, so this exploit is going to send multiple HTTP headers, and after 32 HTTP headers this application gets crashed, and whatever exploit or payload we will send in that specific HTTP header, that will be executed in the system. So let's see what we can do with this exploit. So show options says by default remote port is 8000. We need to change this port. So at set our port 18899. I hope this is the right port which we are using on the server. Let me quickly verify this again. We were using 18899. Yeah, perfectly fine. And then we have to specify the remote host. Okay, remote host in our case is 192.168.1.11. Now, so this is the exploit, but when, so there is a vulnerability which is a weakness in the system, then we have an exploit to basically get the benefit out of that vulnerability. Now once my exploit will reach to the system, what will be executed, that is basically known as payload. So we need to select what I want to do after exploitation of that vulnerability. What I want to do, I need a reverse shell of a system. So set payload Windows, as my machine is the Windows, then shell, then reverse underscore TCP. So I want this payload to be executed. You need not to write any specific code. So on the back end, this will create a payload for you, and then show option. So this lhost, where it will make a connection. Lhost is my Kali IP address, which is 192.168.1.110, and on which port it will create a connection, which is by default in Kali 44444. Ideally it has to be very known good, very known port, because 80 and 443 for example in most of the cases is allowed by default for outbound traffic. So I'm going to do that, set L port 443, and then to exploit this vulnerability, to execute this payload, we need to type exploit. So if yes, so system is vulnerable and I could see a shell, reverse shell from the system. If I execute ipconfig, I could see 192.168.1.11 is the IP address. So actually I'm on the victim machine. Net user, I could see a couple of users, administrator is there, and GoGo is there. So remember we got one file from the FTP directory traversal vulnerability. So let me take you there as well. cd dot dot cd dot dot and dir. So here we have pass.txt. So type is very much similar to cat command in Linux, and pass.txt. So hopefully gogo123 might be a password for the username gogo. Let's try to take a RDP if we are able to get into the system. So go back to create, open a new terminal, our desktop 192.168.1.11. RDP is there, then username, let's try gogo, and password is gogo123. So it says somebody's, so username password is working fine because it says somebody's logged in to the system. If you continue, administrator has to disconnect. Yes. Let's wait if you are able to see the screen. It might take some time. Yes, we could see loading your personal settings. So password worked fine. So user, so they, we identified directory traversal vulnerability. From there we identified some password information. Then we exploited the machine using one of the application Icecast, and RDP was by default enabled, and we are successfully able to log into this machine. So we want to do everything what a normal user can do to this specific machine. So that's all for this video. I'm going to create one more video, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, on the netcats. Because you guys had couple of questions regarding biting shell and reverse shell, so I could show you. I'll also show you in that video how we can do a chatting, because Sahil, I think, wanted to know how the chatting could be done with the help of netcat. So thank you everyone. See you on maybe Saturday or next week. Thank you. Bye.